when you are pregnant, how do you have sex?
You're tired of having sex.
It's because the labor, right? Because you're squeezing so hard that like your arsehole falls out. Hi guys, it's Nixalina and this is Let's Get Real as Fuck, my new YouTube series where I grab interesting and famous people and I sit their ass down and we'll talk about all the things people don't usually talk about in polite company. And this is my first guest. You are gonna love her. Singaporean model and actress, now living in Thailand, Ase Wang. Hey girl, welcome to the show. How does it feel to be the first guest?
Am I the first guest?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess then we're just gonna have to just basically shoot the shit if this is the first guest.
Yeah, I figured of all people that's gonna get real with me, you're definitely high on the list.
I hope so. I'm not one to hold back, so that's for sure. Well, congratulations on your first show.
Thank you, darling. I've given you a brief introduction, but I thought it'd be quite nice if you just tell the guys a little bit about your background and what you do, basically.
So I feel like I do a lot of things. Sometimes I don't even know how to answer that question. Well, my name is Ase Wang. I'm from Singapore, born and bred in Singapore, but I live in Thailand. And I've been working in entertainment since I was about 17, 18 years old. And I'm an actress and I work in Singapore and I work in Thailand.
Nice. I mean, I'm assuming you haven't been back to Singapore for a few months because of COVID?
More like almost over a year now. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole COVID situation and that whole time I've managed to get married and have a baby and I haven't seen anyone back home yet.
What? You've done all of that in the since COVID hit, like the year and a half?
Girl, I got married. I had a baby. Oh my God. Like with all this lockdown stuff, we sure did get a lot of stuff done.
So what you're saying then is you're part of the COVID baby boom where everyone got pregnant during...
Yes, I did IVF, so it wasn't one of these mistakes where it was like, oh, I'm pregnant. It wasn't one of these things. It was very much planned. And I figured COVID is the best time to do IVF because there's no one in the clinic. People are super clean. And because I guess there's not a lot of IVF business during COVID, so they're super attentive. And when you go to the hospital and you deliver, they're super clean about everything. So actually it's a great time to have a baby during COVID.
I personally don't know much about IVF and I'd love for you to share like the journey and I guess how it all started and how you conceived.
Well, first of all, IVF, there's nothing romantic about IVF, which a lot of people don't even really think about because they're just like, oh, right. It's very much...
Is it when they're serenading you with a violin?
It's like a whole manuscript of like, on this day, they're going to inject his sperm into you. And on this day, then they're going to implant the embryo. So it's very, very kind of like systematic, the whole process. Yeah. IVF has become like a real norm now, right? I feel like more of my friends have done IVF than conceive naturally. It seems like conceiving naturally seems to be a problem.
Wow, how long do you go before you decide to do IVF? How long does it take before you think, okay, we can't do this naturally?
I guess when you're tired of having sex. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. I mean, there's only that many times you're gonna try, and then you're gonna be like, all right, something's just not working, right? So, I mean, it's definitely, yeah, you gotta probably throw it down quite a bit to realize that, okay, something's not happening. So I froze my eggs 3 times prior to meeting my husband, and I kind of did that on my own. I was single. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna find someone. I kept, relationships weren't working out, and I just came to a point where I was like, you know what, if there's anything that I'm gonna do for myself and not for anyone else, that's gonna be freeze my eggs. So I did that. I did 3 courses of egg freezing here in Thailand, and then I did the last course when I did IVF. So it's been a process. I've been doing this for a few years now. It's not something that I just started doing.
And how do you feel about the egg freezing policy here in Singapore?
Oh my God, where do I even start? I'm angry, I'm upset. I felt like I didn't get much help from my country. And I felt like they keep saying that they're going to change the rules. Everything is like it's always a topic of conversation. Oh, they're talking about it. They're talking about change. They're talking about change. It's been years now and they're still talking about change. And in these years, I think people have just gotten more and more information about egg freezing, and Singaporean women are going outside of Singapore to freeze their eggs. So it's really up to them, you know, how they feel about their women going outside for help. And it doesn't seem like it's very high on the list of priorities. And I can understand maybe now with COVID, there's a lot of other things to do, but there has been no movement whatsoever.
I mean, like, I'm 34 and I'm thinking about freezing my eggs because as far as I'm aware with egg freezing, it's like your eggs remain at the age of which they were extracted, right? So if I then wanted them back inside at, say, 38, 39 years old, my eggs are 34 years old, right?
Basically, whatever age you extract your eggs from, whatever age you extract your eggs with, that is the age that how strong your eggs are going to be when they implant it. But that being said, freezing your eggs doesn't mean that they're going to survive. Because when you freeze your eggs, they can also die during freezing. Freezing your eggs doesn't guarantee 100% that things are going to work out because you have to create an embryo. And if you can create an embryo, then that has a higher success rate.
Is it painful, babe? I'm scared.
I feel like we do many more painful things to our body. Like, I have a huge tattoo on my back and that hurt like a bitch. But you know, I was also 15 years old and like, I don't know, I thought I was cool. So I just, but now when I think about it, I'm like, having a huge tattoo on your back, that was definitely more painful than freezing my eggs. And it's really, I'll tell you what's painful is the bill that you get after you freeze your eggs. That's more painful than anything. Like, that puts a huge hole in your pocket.
I just feel like it's such a, for me, it's a positive thing, you know? Like, I can't believe it's banned because for me, I can only see it as a positive. It means we can like have babies at a later stage. We've probably got higher chance of having healthier eggs. Like,
I just don't think that Singapore has the right research on what is going on. They're still really backdated, and they're backdated in the sense that they think that allowing Singaporean women to freeze their eggs will allow them to get married at a later age. Like, they're worried that people are not going to want to get married sooner. And I'm just thinking the birth rate in Singapore has gone down so much.
Did you get pregnant like on the first time round of trying IVF?
I did. Surprisingly, I did. And that was a real shocker because I thought I'd have to do it like 2-3 rounds. But I got pregnant the first time.
And they ain't cheap either, is it? IVF is also hefty bill.
Yeah, it's a hefty bill. So I was really happy. I was like, well, that's just silver lining because I paid, you know, so much to freeze my eggs that at least something was fair, that at least I got it on the first round. But then, you know, it never really stops because then you have a hospital bill after that, and giving birth isn't cheap either. So I mean, it never really stops. Having a baby is really freaking expensive. And I mean, being pregnant was a whole other thing too, you know, doctor appointments, and people don't realize what goes into being pregnant either. Like, people think it's a walk in the park. Like, being pregnant was by far like the craziest thing I've ever done in my life.
This episode is actually called Everyone Lies to You When You're Pregnant. And I feel like this is a great time to just delve in with the pregnancy. And when you're like, everyone lies to you, what do you mean? I
look back now and I think, oh my God, like I can count all the friends and all the lies that I got. And it was all just like really like, no, when you hear the baby cry, everything's just gonna go out the window, all the pain. I was like, bullshit. I was terrified. I was sedated, you know, and I was super nervous. I was also in labor for almost 3 days before I gave birth. So I did a C-section, and I remember a friend calling me, and she said to me, you need to calm down because Nana told me that you're freaking out, and you need to calm down because we've all done this before, and trust me when I tell you, it's like going into Starbucks and getting a coffee and walking out. And I was like, really? I was like, all right, well, maybe I should look at it that way. Like, I'm just going in, I'm grabbing a coffee, I'm going out, like, it's no big deal, pony on up. I went in and I lost all control. Like, I was like exorcist in there. So it was not, that's a lie when people tell you that giving birth. Or they might say, yeah, it just hurts a little bit, but then when you hear the baby cry, that's a lie. It hurts.
I mean, there's no way it takes 3 days to get a fucking coffee. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't want it by the end of it.
Contractions are pain like you've never felt before.
Okay, well, obviously I've got no kids. So for me, like I can only imagine period cramps, right? Menstrual cramps, and mine are pretty horrific.
100.
Times 100.
Yeah. It's like it's just something just starts and just goes bam, 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 and you're like, oh my God. And I just remember being in the hospital and I said, whatever it is that you're giving me right now, it's not working. Like whatever painkillers it is, it's not working.
Wait, before we carry on with labor, I just want to find out about the pregnancy bit. Like, did you at least have a really lovely 9 months?
I had a really lovely second trimester. My first trimester, I was vomiting like crazy. I was actually really, really sick. I had really bad migraines. Like I sound like I'm complaining, but really like I am complaining, yes. I'm really, look, don't get me wrong. I love my daughter. I'm super happy. I love babies. I'm not like a pregnancy hater. Well, I kind of am sometimes, but like I would have conversations with my friends and I would say, they would ask me, do you enjoy being pregnant? I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't enjoy being pregnant. And I realized that there are a lot of women out there that really don't enjoy being pregnant. They enjoy being mothers, but the pregnancy process, it's really, really, I mean, some people just breeze through it. And those are the ones that you hate and you're just like, oh, shut up. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And then you have women that really go through the ringer, and I happen to be one of those that went through the ringer.
So one of my burning questions is like, when you are pregnant, how do you have sex?
So this is something that you don't really think about when you're pregnant. So, or when you're about to have a baby, is that sex really, I think you're not supposed to have sex in the last trimester. And I don't know about other people, but I mean, having sex when you're pregnant is really, really difficult. Like I would not like advise that. So that's like everyone, I guess people just don't think about it, but like sex is definitely not a priority when you're pregnant. That's for sure.
I thought you're supposed to be like extra horny when you're pregnant. No?
Maybe some girls were, but I mean, it depends how you're feeling too. If you're someone like me that felt like exorcist, like I don't think that would go down so well, right? So that was just kind of like, that's like another thing people don't know is that I think a lot of people are not really that sexually active when they're pregnant.
So like, are you naturally kind of a horny person? Was this normal for you?
I mean,
how's your sex drive, babe?
I mean, sex drive when you're pregnant, it's really not there. I mean, but I mean, we're all, yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say like we're all kind of into it, I guess, in a way. So yeah. But I mean, when you're pregnant, I don't think you're feeling yourself like, you know, being sexual with somebody when you have this massive stomach and your boobs are like huge, or like even after you give birth, like how are you even supposed to have sex? Like your boobs are massive. You have like a bunch of milk, you know, it's just like, I don't know if women would, I'm not down with that.
But like some guys really like get turned on by heavily pregnant women, right? Like was your partner extra turned on?
I guess some do, but then some guys are also scared to have sex with pregnant women because they're scared that they're gonna like hit the baby.
Pound the baby's head, right?
It's not true, okay? That is not true. And how do I know that? It's because a doula told me that it's not true. So for all of you out there that wonder, like, are you gonna be hitting the baby? You're not hitting the baby, but you should probably not be having sex close to like your birth date.
Right, okay. But you're not, even if you did, like 2 days before you were due, for instance, if someone's like, I really wanna get fucked, you can.
I think you could, but I don't think I've known anyone that's done that. And it could actually trigger labor. And it's the same how they tell you that you need to not, it's just like so random. You're not supposed to squeeze your nipples too hard before you go into labor because it could put you into labor.
What? Squeezing nipples can put you into labor?
Yeah, like it could put you into labor. Like basically it triggers labor. There's plenty of stuff people don't know about pregnancy. Also that after you give birth, you could get freaking hemorrhoids. Like that's something that nobody told me when I was pregnant. Nobody ever told me that you can get hemorrhoids when you're pregnant or after. So that was like something else that I was like, okay, like what's going on here? There's a lot of things.
The hemorrhoids is when it's like a pile of grapes falls out your asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Like comes out.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. The ones that and then they tell you like, oh, that's nothing. Everyone gets that after they're pregnant. And I'm like, well, nobody told me that. Like nobody told me that you get hemorrhoids after you have a baby.
It's because the labor, right? Because you're squeezing so hard that like your arsehole falls out.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's because you're squeezing. I think it's something to do with like your blood vessels. Like they're tense or there's something.
It's not squeezing, it's the pushing pressure, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then so, it's just like one of these things when I call the doctor and I'm like, well, this is happening. He's like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, well, thanks. I didn't know that. So what do I do with it now? And he's just like, well, you go take a hot bath, eat more vegetables, and if they pop out, pop them back in. What the hell is happening?
Sorry. You have to push your own hemorrhoids back into your butt.
I'm not lying. I mean, this is stuff that you can see on Google. Like, if anyone thinks I'm crazy for saying this, like I'm telling you, that is what people do. So that's another thing they don't tell you.
Other things that they don't tell you, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you are giving birth, do you shit yourself?
Okay, so I didn't have a natural birth, so I didn't shit myself. But I'm quite sure if I did, I would probably either shit myself or rip down to my butt, which is honestly that does happen. And I know we're laughing about it now, but yeah, people do shit themselves, and they do tear all the way down.
It sounds fucking traumatic.
Yeah, but it's traumatic, but we do it. That's the thing. It's traumatic, but we do it, right? Like, I will sound a little bit cheesy and say that, yeah, when you see your kid, you're gonna be like, oh man, but for me, it's like when I see my daughter, I'm like, whoa, I gave birth to you. Like I had that in my stomach. So that it kind of evens things out at the end. But I'm telling you that there are so many things that your friends are gonna tell you that you're just like, they're lies. And they do it because they want you to be calm, and I understand that. But there's a lot of that, oh no, it was fine. But no, it wasn't.
When you're breastfeeding, are you allowed to drink? Because I would want like the biggest glass of champagne. I would want a keg.
I mean, you have those people that are like, no, you cannot drink when you're breastfeeding, and no, you can't drink when you're pregnant. Yeah, you're not supposed to booze yourself when you're pregnant. But like, people do it all the time. Like, have a glass of wine. Like, don't this whole image of like this cookie cutter mom, it's just, that's not who I am, and that's never how I'm gonna be. And like, I'll have a glass of wine or two, and like, I'll just make sure that I like either pump like while I'm drinking the glass of wine, or I like, I pump and then I'll either have a glass of wine and wait 3 hours and pump. I mean, life doesn't stop when you have a baby.
Talking of life not stopping, when did you manage to have sex after a C-section? Like how long does it take to heal? Because you've obviously said you didn't have sex in the last trimester, then you've had a traumatic like labor 3 days, and you've been cut open. How long does it take before you're like, I just want some dick?
I mean, like, this is a major operation. So that's like the last thing that you're gonna be thinking about is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have sex now because, I gave birth. People don't understand like the trauma that your body goes through after having a baby and the changes that it makes. Which is another thing. I ate my placenta too, which a lot of people don't know.
What? You actually ate it?
So I actually saved my placenta with this company. And this company, I told the company, basically split the placenta in two and keep half of my placenta for stem cells, for future stuff. And then the other half was given to my doula, which then encapsulated them. And we made like vegan capsules. And I ate them for almost 2 months after my pregnancy every day.
In my head, you were like frying it for breakfast. Like
It's like capsules, so like you swallow it, like, you know, it's like taking medicine. You're not really eating it. But yeah, I was doing that every day for 2 months.
So just for people that don't understand why this happened, explain why you ate your own placenta. What's the benefits?
It's like bringing your body back to what it was before you got pregnant. It's got lots of like good vitamins and minerals that you've lost during pregnancy. It's good for your skin. It's good for beauty. So I was just like, you know what? I'll freaking do it. So I got it encapsulated, and then I kept the other half of the placenta in a stem cell bank. And next week I'm gonna use some of that stem cells and put it back into my body.
That's really cool. I didn't know you could do that. I also have another burning question that I just really want to know, and I don't think any mum's going to actually tell me the honest truth, but I know you will. Has your partner drunk your breast milk?
He hasn't. He has not drank my breast milk, and I have not drank my own breast milk because, I don't know, that was something I was just not like, I don't know, I was just like not into it.
You ate your own placenta, love.
Milk, I was like, I'm not, you know what? If you could encapsulate my breast milk, maybe I would, because then I wouldn't taste it. You know what I mean? But like, I'm like, no one's eating my breast milk other than my daughter.
I had visions of guys wanting to like, you know.
I don't even know what that would taste like, to be honest.
Because your tits are all massively swollen as well, right? When you breastfeed, they're all just like sore.
They're huge. Your tits are massive when you're pregnant. Yeah. And that's another thing. It's just like your boobs are massive. Like I don't think I've ever had, like they were just, I don't know what to say. They're huge.
So I guess we've already talked about the pregnancy and having a kid, but I kind of want to know if you've got, what's for the future? Like, are you going to have another baby? What kind of career projects have you got going? Okay, no to another baby.
I'm one and done. I'm one and done, and I only say that because I'm the only child. My husband's the only child. We've only just always wanted to have one child. So I'm one and done. There's no more babies here. I'm very happy the way that we are. As for like project wise, I have a TV show coming out called The Story of Eng and Cheng, the Siamese twins. It's a true story about the Siamese twins in Thailand. So that's coming out this year. And I play somebody completely different. I think people are just gonna die when they see me on screen because like they probably wouldn't even know it's me. Yeah, so that's I'm really excited about that because that's based on the true story. And we did that under True in Thailand. And I'm coming back on a TV show that I usually do. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it back to Singapore during that time, but I virtually tuned in to be part of the show that I've been part of. So that's gonna come out sometime this year too. So that's really exciting.
And are you still modeling? You're doing the modeling work? Because obviously I'm assuming like the post-baby body is, how's it going?
I worked hard to get my body back. I worked really, really hard. I guess it's like, you know, that's another thing people don't tell you. It's that, oh yeah, here's something else. You lose a lot of weight breastfeeding. They don't tell you that.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't tell you that. You lose so much weight breastfeeding. Like I did. I lost most of my baby weight. I'm back to normal just by breastfeeding.
Do you have a flat stomach? Can I see? Can you show off your post?
I feel like I'm almost back to normal here. So yeah.
Babe! Oh my God, you look incredible.
So yeah, I mean, modeling bit, I don't really model as much anymore. I do more TV work. But that's still going. I'm still working. Like I said, life doesn't stop when you have a baby, so.
Thank you 1,000,000,000% for doing the first show with me. And honestly, I love how real you are about it. I wish more women were this honest and didn't pretend it's all sunshine and rainbows and fucking unicorns, because it's not. It's all hemorrhoids and shitting yourself and diabetes.
And eating your placenta and grapes grapes in your butthole.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's been
and good luck on your new show.
And whenever I get pregnant, I'll be sliding into your DMs.
When you get pregnant, hit me up because I'll tell you what's what, okay? So that you're not going in there blindsided.
Thank you, darling. Take care.
Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.